Hello and welcome to my classroom. This is actually a look at today's plan. Um, First, we're going to start out with circle time. And I like to begin my days with this because it really allows the students to feel classroom community and to be heard. They're able to tell us how they're feeling today and really share with us where they're at and feel safe in this classroom. So this is definitely building on social cultural environment. Next, we're heading over to math. And today for math, we are doing a quiz on last week's material. I do standards-based grading, and I feel like I want to make sure all of my curriculum is very purposeful and my teaching is purposeful. So this really allows me to give their grades real meaning behind it. So what does getting an A or B actually mean? I want the students to really understand the level that they're at. We also are going to be beginning new unit material, and for any new material, I am a big proponent of advanced organizers. I feel like and this is an example of cognitive disciplinary structures. I feel like it's important for the students to know some background information before I'm just throwing a new unit at them. So this kind of goes along with standard 5 of learning environment. So we've got PE, music, and art next, but we're going to skip that and head to target time. And today for target time, we're going to be doing a combination of some spelling, writing, and oral word work. Today's activity is one of my favorites. It's a STAR student activity, and today is John. So John's going to be sitting in a chair while the students are able to ask him questions, and we are going to really find out who John is and what makes him unique. So I really want the students to lead this activity. I will, of course, facilitate and help form sentences on the board, but I want the students to kind of be the leaders of this one. This is a great example of social cultural environment as well as interdisciplinary and pragmatic approach, because not only are we working on oral speaking, but we're taking that and creating spelling words and writing sentences along with it. All right, next we have lunch and recess. Today for lunch, I've got a note in here that one of my students, Ava, is going to eat with me. And this is a reward that she chose as a positive reinforcement for her classroom behavior lately. And then for recess, I just wanted to mention that we do use the buddy bench, and I am such a big proponent of this. It really builds community and inclusion, so no student is feeling left behind. And then we're going to move on to reading. Today, students are going to find a comfortable spot and read a book aloud or read silently. I want them to be comfortable in the classroom and find whatever spot they feel allows them to do that. I want to provide a diverse library for them. So I have a multicultural bookshelf, and I really want to try to encompass all demographics, all races and cultures, to really build inclusion in the classroom. So this touches on standard 3 diverse learners, and it's also an example of social cultural environment. And then finally, we've got science. We're going to end the day with science. Today we're starting science projects, and this is one of my favorites. The students are going to be working with partners to draw upon their prior knowledge and ask a practical question that they've been curious about. I want them to be leaders of this. I will merely be the facilitator, but I want them to be hands-on, and I am providing the environment and the tools that are going to allow them to do this. So they'll be using the Tech Center and the Project Center. I want them to be able to use mediating tools. So human tools, they can use peers, they can use myself, and then the material tools as well as psychological and cultural tools. I really believe it's important to provide these resources for them. So this also touches on standard 2, which is student learning. And it goes along with the constructivism as well as John Dewey's pragmatic approach to learning. So constructivism states that learning is an active, contextualized process of constructing knowledge rather than acquiring it. So I really want the students to create a personal experience with their projects and hypothesis of the environment around them. I've got a couple other notes on here. I love to write down my goals for the day. I want to teach purposeful material and curriculum, and goals allow me to stay on track with this. So I wrote down a few goals for the day, which is an example of behaviorism in the classroom, as well as a to-do list. And I'm also a big proponent of to-do lists because they also keep the classroom flowing and efficient as possible. So today I've got to check journals. I'm a big believer in continual feedback, so I like to do that through journals. And then I do have to get feedback on the math homework as well. For math homework, I like to talk about its purpose and how it applies to their assessments, because usually math is one of the more boring subjects that I find my students feeling. So I like to really have them understand why we're doing what we're doing for math. And then I also love talking to my students' parents. I really think it builds community. It builds that communication between myself and the students and myself and parents, which is so important. So I've got a couple calls to make and on classroom etiquette. So these students have shown such great behavior in the classroom. I want to let their parents know and give them a positive call rather than just negative calls. And then I also have to add to the reward board. I mentioned this earlier. The reward board is a bulletin board where I like to highlight students who have gone out of their way to do something positive in the classroom. So that was an example of Ava eating lunch with me today. She was on the reward board and was able to choose where she wanted to eat today. And that is an important concept for students to understand positive reinforcement. All right, it looks like I have a busy day, so I'm going to get going. Thank you so much, and have a great day.